Okay, hi guys, how you going? And we are up to day 3. I was just double checking my mic. I wanted to make sure I was on because I don't want you to miss out on what I have in store for you today. Congratulations on turning up and being here. And today, I'm going to bring in everything that I've talked about the last 2 sessions. I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to show you one of the most crucial things. Actually 2. The first one is that's all very well and good, creating a really awesome business and doing all those implementing those tools that I showed you, but how do you actually get found? How do people actually approach you? So how did we, as a suburban business in Melbourne, Australia, get approached by a company that manages over $60 billion in clients' money around the world, a global business? So how did we get approached by that, and how did they even know that we existed? Because, we're not out in Collins Street, which is the big street here in Melbourne. So I'm going to show you today. Session will probably go for a little bit longer than 20 minutes, maybe somewhere between 20 and 30. And if you're watching this live, awesome amount of value. And if you're watching the recording, then you can always skip through, but don't do that because you're going to miss out on some great content. Now, today, I am obviously talking about how to sell your business to a global company. Now, regardless of whether you want to sell to a global company or whether you want to sell a business or whether you are actually in business full stop, today's session will be of enormous amounts of value because I'm going to be sharing with you the tools that we use to help our clients reach goals, their financial goals that we have on our clients' books, in excess of $1.5 billion. So that's not an M, that's $1.5 billion worth of financial goals is what we're implementing for our clients. And I'd love to show you how we do that. And by the end of today's session, I'd love to get some of you on board, obviously, to see how we can help even more people to create a better world. So let's get into it. Today, we will be talking about, I'm going to show you how to get found and how we can help. Before we start, general advice disclaimer. Now, I know that you guys are all very smart and clever, but in the legal landscape, this is really important. This is general advice only, I don't know anything about your personal circumstances. So don't use this information you're watching today to be construed as personal advice. In order for you to actually implement this as personal advice, you'd need to see me as a personal advisor. So I'll get to more of that at the end of this session. Right, so quick recap. Day 1, wanted to show you how to be attractive to a global company. And I showed you that it was all about personal leadership, leading from the front, showing your people how to turn up, showing your people how to be and how to have vision. And then it was about replicating a business that has a business that replicates your values so that when people look at your business, they're thinking about you because effectively you are your business. So I showed you a process on how to do that because if you are not in a business, if you don't own a business that's replicating your values, what's really important to you, then you've basically just bought yourself another job. So that's really, really key. Then I went into showing how you had to have the right team to implement your values within your business and the sorts of people you needed to have within your business to do that. And if you're able to map all those things together by having a values-based business based on what's important to you with the right people, you can be adaptable, which is really, really important. And if you are in a business that hasn't been able to pivot the last 18 months throughout everything that's been happening in the world, then you might find yourself slipping backwards. So being adaptable is essential to business. And the last thing you need to do is invest in the business, not just so that anything that you take on board is a program for growth and being growth focused. So that was day 1, a lot to cover in there. And then on day 2, I showed you some really key important things. The first one was to fast track strategy for growth. And I showed you some really great acquisition strategies, who to target, how to target people, where to find people, the sorts of people to actually to negotiate with and how to negotiate. Then I showed you how to have the only business plan that you need on a page. This business plan is one that is used by multi-billion organizations around the globe. I've used it in our business to actually triple our revenue, and I used it when I was consulting to other practices. So that was the only plan that you need, and it's only on one page. I showed you how to do that personally, and I showed you how to do that to translate that into your business. Then I showed you there was 3 essential things for successful sale. for a successful business sale, you need these three things. You need to be organized. So you need, if you're at the negotiation table and you need things to able to, they want some documents, you need to have that really quickly. You need to look like you know what you're doing. You've got a business that's on the ball. You need to have a vision and also a strategy to implement. It's all very well to be speaking to people, but if they don't know that you've got somewhere that you want to go and that you have not got a vision, then no one's going to actually want to do business with you. When I was at Stanford a couple of times in my previous business. Went to Stanford University for some executive education, met some venture capital VCs, billionaires over in Silicon Valley, and they said the number one thing that they invest in businesses is people. So you might have the great idea and everything, but if you don't have that vision and you don't have that person that's personable, they're not going to invest in your business, and certainly a global business is not going to buy you. The last thing you need to do is to be able to pick your A team, and by that meaning that you are turning up for massive transaction, you've got a massive growth goals in your business. In order to do that, you need to pick your A team. So having the best solicitors, not just because your cousin's a solicitor, use somebody that is the best, having the best accountants, the best team for you to take your business to where you want it to be. Because if you have a B team, then you're going to have a B business. It's really that simple. So today, how are you going to get found, right? So let's move into that. There's no rocket science to this, right? How do you get found? The first thing that you got to do is you got to be able to be found. I mean, there's 3 steps to getting found. The real simple one is you need to be visible. People need to know you exist. So you might have a really great business that's really humming. You might have a wonderful family life, and your business is giving you everything that you need. When it comes to you going to market to sell your business, or people just ringing you out of the blue, they need to know that you actually exist. And I'll show you a couple of ways to do that. And this is not rocket science. I'll just share with you the things that happen in our business, the things that I did personally to be visible for people to know that I actually existed. And one of the things that you can do is saying yes. So what I mean by that is when somebody comes up to you with an opportunity within your business, don't just immediately go, oh, I'm not really ready for that. Lean in and have a look at the opportunity, and eventually I'd encourage you to say yes more than you say no, because that's exactly what we did. Little simple things like we had one of our business coaches came into our office 10 years ago and said, hey, listen, there's a group of financial advisors that we're sending over to the US to learn this system. It's called values-based financial planning. Would you guys like to go? And partners at the time were going, oh, I'm not sure. And I said, yes, yep, 100%. So we went over, and that one trip ended up just transforming our business so immensely that it was one of the key reasons that we stood out. So, and that going on that trip gave other people visibility of me, because we were fresh into this organization, and it just made me more visible. So as a result of that, by saying yes to going on that one trip, then I was asked to join the advisory board for the advisors. So we were part of our financial planning business, was part of a broader group that had 100 other businesses in it, 110, and I was asked to go into the advisory board. Because I said yes to that simple trip, which was, a study trip, and then I got exposed to other people, and then they knew what we were doing, and we were doing something that was different. I got then asked to present at every conference that we went, that the organization put on. I became one of the advisor speakers and representatives. So being visible comes from you saying yes, not from saying, oh, no, look, I can't do that because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And saying yes also means like little simple things. If you are at a conference, don't just be one of those guys that just sits down in the corner that doesn't say anything. People need to know what your opinions are, and they need to know who you are. So that's really, really, really crucial. So when you say yes, turn up, but participate positively. So you don't also want to be that guy in the conference that everybody sort of moans about, because when he puts his hands up, they know it's going to be a whinge fest, or it's just something totally unrelated, or he just carries on telling his own life story. So work out a way to want to be visible, be yes, participate positively, and give back. And, the hours that I spent on advisory boards were hours out of the business. And they were At the time, I had business partners sort of questioning why I was spending so much time out of the business on these advisory boards. But what it did do, it took our business up to an elevated level in terms of being visible and people knowing who we were. So that's probably my biggest tip on how you get found. You need to be visible so people can find you. Right? Be visible so people can find you. No one's going to see you if you're hiding under the bed because you're too scared to say anything or to even move. So where do you get, and so where can you participate and where you can be visible? There's a couple of key things, and every industry is very different, but most industries have organizing bodies. They've got industry groups. You might be part of a subset of a body. There might be various other ones. So CPA Australia or IPA, there's lots of other different governing bodies, but participate in those and get actively involved, because when you go in there, you network and you meet other people. And when you go to conference, when we can go back to conferences or the online pieces, just networking and just meeting people, because you may have remembered one of the first slides I put up in the first presentation is that success in life is based on the people you meet and what you create together. So it's very difficult for you to create success on your own. You need to go out and network, and you need to go out and meet people. The other thing is to get involved in boards and committees. Now, I know not everybody loves a committee and they can be a little bit dry. However, once you're inside those committees, it gives you insights into business, into how the industry runs, into how other people run their business. So you need to step into an environment where you're surrounded by other people who want to be greater, be greater than what they are. And in being in boards and committees does that, and it gives you visibility of what's going on, but it also gives other people visibility of you. The one is industry publications. So you might have, and you don't actually have to write an article. It may be just participating in a conversation in an industry online forum. It's in, you might write an editorial about something. If it's not industry publications, you might have a marketing brochure or something that you can give to the broader group to share, so that you are giving and just being visible. So we did this within our business where we had some blogs going on. We also actually actively involved online. So no, we were really visible. Anywhere that we had the opportunity to be visible, we participated, so they knew that we existed. The other thing to look at is getting into those industry awards. Now, some of these awards can just gives you that extra confirmation, and they don't have to be huge. It could be even like a qualifier for best of business. It could be, I am applying for this best of breed kind of award within my industry. So I had an award for a piece of software that I was developing as a result of going to Stanford, and it was in the Australian Goals-Based Association of Advisors. It's a couple hundred financial advisors in there around the country, and I won an award for innovation. And I hadn't even created the software, but what it was another piece that I could put in there and say, okay, here's something that we've won. And then because we did a lot of business, we got, within the group, we were winning awards around that. And just, I'm not saying this to say, look at me. It was more around, we did that for a reason. One, it took us to actually have a goal to want to get to, gave me something to reach to better myself and the business. And it also gave confirmation that we're doing the right thing. So if you do all those things, if you can just be visible, if you can say yes, turn up, participate positively, participate in those groups, join the boards, join the committees. When somebody rings you up and says, would you consider joining this? Say yes, just lean in and do it, because it's going to lead you to being visible. And then as a result of all this, when the business this business overseas was looking to buy businesses in Australia, we were one of quite a few that they were looking at. And we were a platinum group the year after they bought us, actually, but they thought that we were actually up in that platinum group, and that we were, one of these massive businesses, and because our perception was so big of what we were doing, that they decided that we were someone that they wanted to be involved with. So that perception on being involved at that level is crucial. So I encourage you to do it. Encourage you to get out of your comfort zone and get in there and grab it by the horns. All right. So that's enough on how you're getting found. Just get found by being visible, so people know who and where you are. So let's transition now into how we can help. If you think about what we've done, everything that we've done the last couple of days, guys, I'm going to now sort of bring it home to show you how you can potentially be one of these clients. So the clients that we have, their financial goals that they have that we're working towards equal $1.5 billion. So how we can help you really depends on where you want it to go. It's not just an off-the-shelf kind of solution that we have. Here's a couple of modules. We're going to sell this to you for X thousands of dollars. It really, we customize everything to people, but I'm going to show you some of those tools and how we do it. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you don't know where you want to go, then you can just do anything. You can just say yes to anything. You may, I love this quote, and you've probably seen this one before from Alice in Wonderland, where Alice came up to the fork in the road with the Cheshire cat up in the tree. And she said, "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?" And the Cheshire cat said, "Well, that depends a good deal on where you want to go." And Alice said, "Well, I don't much care where." And the cat replied, "Then it doesn't much matter which way you go." So Alice said, so long as I get me somewhere?" And the cat said, "Oh, yeah, you're sure to do that if you only walk long enough," which means that if you just meander along, you're going to get somewhere. Why not get somewhere by design and get somewhere where you want to go? So really, how we can help you depends on where you want to go. And goals are really important. I know some people stumble their way through success. Some people are really great at business, and they're just all of a sudden they find themselves in a good business. Where we help you is to go to the next level by having tangible goals that you can hit, like this $1.5 billion. Why are goals important? Well, it sounds good in theory, and we've all lived it. In the age of verification by experts, I'm going to share with you a study that was done over 20 years ago by the Dominican University in California on goals research. Now, you wouldn't think you'd need a study on goals, but here it is. I'll show you. What happened was, in this study, they got 267 participants from various countries, from different occupations. So you had a very broad demographic of people, and they split them into 5 groups. The first group, they said they got them to just think about their goals. So just think about your goals, don't do anything at all, just think about it. The second group, they said, ask them to write their goals down on paper. Then the third group, they said, okay, now once you've done that, I want you to also write action commitments. So don't only just write them on paper, but I want you to put down some action commitments on how you're going to hit your goals. Then the fourth group, I said, now you've got that in place and you've got the commitments, I'd like you to share that with a friend. So that's next level. So that's you thinking about it, writing it down, putting down some little bullet points, and then, okay, now I'm going to tell a friend, I'm going to share it. So it's in the open, it's public. You've publicly committed, so committing it. But then they took it the next step and said, with this step 5 is to provide weekly goal progress updates. So to your friend on how you're going. So that's the accountability. So think about it, write it down, action items, share it, accountability. So let's have a look and see the difference. Now, in the group 5, so it was a scaling sort of group, just to clarify how it kind of worked. You can see here's group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the groups, what the action items that they did. And group 5 is the only one that did all of them. Okay, does that make sense? That was the only one that did all of these 5 action items. And just to give you a little bit of a taste on the sorts of things that they did, the types of goals, lots of different types of goals like completing projects, productivity, enhancing life balance, work anxiety, learning a new skill. And as a result of it, the examples of the goals completed through this process, they're quite big. They weren't just, I want to learn how to cook a meal. It was write a book, update website, completed a plan, secured a contract, hired employees, and even preventing a hostile takeover. So these are things that happen as a result of creating a plan. So let's just have a look at the numbers and see the impact of what this all means and what it means and how it can help you. So group 1 with unwritten goals, their mean goal achievement number was 4.28. So don't apply anything to the number other than it means, it's a greater number, a higher number is better than a lower one. So group 1 had unwritten goals of 4.28. Group 2s to 5 with written goals, their goal achievement was 6.44. So what does that mean? It means that you've got a 50% greater chance of achieving goals when they are written down. 50%. So just from you moving from having a nice idea to writing it down, and how many of you actually have taken the time, even if it's 5 minutes, to write down your goals whether it's the beginning of each year, on your birthday, or whatever, every quarter, every month, even at the beginning of the day, writing down your task list. How many of you actually do that? Because if you don't, if you do, you get a 50% greater chance of achieving your goals once they're written. And when we go through and have a look and see the scale and what's happened here, you can see here, and I'll show you the impact of group 1 writing the goals, unwritten goals, massive increase in just writing it down. But when you write down the action items, you get a little bit, then you realize a bit of work involved, then the likelihood actually decreases then with those actual action items. But where it actually comes up is when you make it public. And when you make your goals public, you've committed them to somebody, and there's a little bit of sense of ego there that needs to be maintained, so you make sure you want to do it. But where it goes even further with the extra kicker is having somebody in there to give you the progress reports and the accountability. So if you go from just thinking about it to writing all through this process and having somebody to help you being accountable to the goals, like that $1.5 billion worth of revenue that I have with our clients, they have a 78% greater chance of achieving their goals when we track them and when we track their progress. 78% greater chance. That is a massive, massive turnout. I mean, even 5% is big these days. I'm talking about a 78% greater chance of hitting your goals if you just do these simple things. Now, a lot of people do these. Where we really help out is, well, we help out with all of these steps, right? Or 5 of those steps. And I want to just come in further. And so you might say, look, Jason, that's great. I just want to come in. I want to get a goal sorted. I don't need any help in terms of making sure that I do things because I'm really good at implementing. That's why I've got such a good business, right? I mean, I get it. I'm pretty smart. I've seen all this stuff before. Just give me some tools and then I'll implement. What I'd say to that is that what separates a good business and a great business is the consistency of success. You've seen it in the industry before, people coming in and out, being successful, done all right. A couple of years later, you say, where did those guys go? The key to actually hitting those goals for you is not just being a one-hit wonder, and with all respect, but in having that consistent success. I want to pull across a sporting analogy. So if you have a look at, say, these 3 people, Serena Williams, Roger Federer, Todd, what's his name? That they have consistent success because they have over here like 20 years each in the game, at the top of the game. Not Tom Brady. Top of the game for 20 years. How do you do that? I'm not talking about winning 1 Grand Slam, which is a massive, massive achievement in itself. I'm talking about your business being consistently successful for 20 plus years, or however long you want it to be, so you can be attractive to global business. And these people, they consistently do what they need to do every single day. And the one thing they all have is a coach. So Roger Federer he knows how to backhand. So Serena Williams, she knows how to smash a ball. She's not going to bed every night and think, you know what, I think I'm done with the backhand and smashing practice. I know how to do it. I don't really need a coach. I'll just sort of rock up tomorrow. I'm fine. The reason they need to do that is they need to keep on top of the game because the game changes, the competition changes, plus their body changes, like your business changes. So therefore, having somebody in your corner to help you have that consistent success is crucial to longevity in your business. And not only that, when you look at it, it's not just one person they have in their pocket. They don't just have one manager, one coach. Roger Federer's got he's got a chef. He's got a forehand coach. Tom Brady's got a passing coach, defense coach. They've got numerous amounts of coaches. A really good example of the number of coaches you need in your A team in your business is someone like the last year's winner, Pogacar, of the Tour de France. Now, this is an amazing race. I won't go into too much detail, but you probably all aware, 3,500 kilometers over 2 weeks riding, 21 days of consistent riding over that time frame, only a couple of days rest in between. Comes down, the winning margin of this race comes down to less than a minute. Right, so in order to do that with such the intense field around him, he needs to have a team. So he's got a team who's also other riders within him, making sure that he's up front, and it's a very tactical game. He has a team in there, or he's got a support team that makes sure that he has what he needs to do on the day so they can come in and sort of keep him on track. And as well as that, they've got management team. So they've got massive sponsors. They have he's got a huge amount of people around him. And in fact, if you look at it, He's got over 60 to 70 people just to make sure this one person wins that Tour de France and all the other races throughout the year. So what do you have in your team set? Who is helping you be where you want to be? And how many, is it just you turning up to the office with your business partners, trying to work your way through the compliance issues, the new business issues, the staff issues, the process issues, client complaints, testimonials to the online site? How do we keep up with this new thing that's come through? Oh, there's some news. Apparently, this is going to happen in the future. How do you actually navigate all that, and at the same time enjoy your life and then go home and have a wonderful time with your family? If you're doing this on your own and you manage to do this, then great. If you haven't, then I've got something to help you. And I'm going to transition now into showing you how we can actually help. And I'm going to show you the program because I want to be able to pitch to be part of your team. I want to be part of your A team. I want to be part of your A team to help you get your business to where you want it to be. And we've as I said, we don't have any custom off the shelf sort of solutions, but I have packaged up a few things just to show you how it might work, and I'll price something for you as well to give you an indication because right now I know a lot of people need help. So I'm going to get into showing you the sorts of the programs that we've got. And it's divided up into a couple of sections that I think is really valuable for you guys based on what we've been talking about. Now, there's the My Life Plan that we've been talking the last couple of days, especially the strategy map piece, the value proposition. Inside that value proposition, there's a lot of other areas as well, which I'll get into. There's a comprehensive financial advice that we use within as a certified financial advisor, as well as business implementation tools. So let me get into those three things. I think that if you had those three things together, that would set you up really, really well to having an awesome business, and two, being able to sell your business to a global company. So let's deep dive a little bit more into these three key areas, and then I'll go and show you how much they're going to cost you. The My Life Plan personal side. So this is where we'll go. It's video modules. There's workbooks. It's very involved. We go through it. Now, I know a lot of people who in business, very successful people, have one of the things that stops them is their kind of vision, their understanding and how they feel about themselves. So we've got a process where we go through, we reframe your personality and your past and the way you feel about yourself. We pump you up. We call it a winner's image. You then get to an understanding of how good you are and what you can actually achieve. And then and then we look at designing your personal value proposition with you one-on-one. You saw those exercises. If you haven't seen it, go watch day one video while you can. And then once you do this, then we say, okay, great. Now we know what's important to you. Now we know how good you are. Where is it that you actually want to go? What is your definite chief aim? What is your purpose on this planet? Why did you come here? Are you here just to sort of turn up to the office and go through the motions and take home some money? Or are you here to make a difference? And every single client that I have is on this planet to make a difference. And that's the sort of work that we want to do with you as part of your A team. And making a difference is important, because then once we know what your definite chief aim is, then we map out a way to get there. So, I've got a great client of mine who has been involved in sport and also now has gym franchises. And she wants to give back to the community by helping the disadvantaged by starting a health fund. And we're doing that. We're basically doing that. We've got a map to do that. We've got the funding. We have got the pathway to do that. And we're starting to implement it. So this has been designed for you at a personal level, so you can get your congruency between your personal and your business. So this is really, really crucial. Then once you get this in terms of strategy and where you want to go, we want to do a bit of a deep dive, right? This great, really hard, really core setting work. Then what we need to do is start looking at your personal, financial, and family advice. So this is financial advice, certified financial advice. It's comprehensive. It's values-based, so we know what your values are. It's goals-driven. We nut down even deeper on personal goals as well. You might have goals to retire at a certain age with a certain amount of money. You might to help your children. You might have goals with children's education, to set up a charity trust. Whatever your goals are, we'll help drive that out of you, and we'll map that into a full financial advice program called a statement of advice, as it's called. And we can customize this to any country. So it doesn't have to be underneath Australian financial services. We can create a consultant approach to your finances and show you how to map out a plan. We can do the calculations for you. We do the modeling on what it is, where you want to go and what you need to do on cash flow wise. We have this fantastic tool that I developed around, it's trusted by Westpac, by some of the big banks. Is the core program of this tool that we use is trusted by these organizations, and this is a cash flow tool to help you keep on top of your money and your finances. So comprehensive financial advice, what do I mean by that? I mean everything, pretty much everything. I mean, we service over 4,000 clients in Australia, and we've got a number of clients globally as well. So we look at tax, personal and business taxation. We do financial planning. We do money management, so helping you with cash flow. We look at your wealth management, portfolios, obviously, your pension funds, super funds. We have access to, we look at estate planning, so making sure that you've got your risk strategies in place. You can have your making your wills in order, insurance and finance. So we look at all that. Right now, you might be this person doing all this with all these different people, trying to pull that together, trying to run your business, trying to be the family person at home, but knowing that these are sort of in your background that needs to be looked at. So we can take that away from you in terms of stress and help manage that for you, even you liaising with your existing people. So we'll liaise with the existing accountant, we'll liaise with your existing solicitors to make sure that your plan is up to date and on song, and you've got everything that you need to in place to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So those are the sorts of things that we do within that plan. We've got a little, for people that need help with cash flow, we've got an online cash flow ebook and module that helps people boost their cash flow within 30 days, because I know that no matter how much you earn, sometimes you spend as well. In fact, in my previous business, one of my largest clients earned 7 figures, and they just ended up spending it all. And my biggest goal was just trying to help that client save, and they paid us a lot of money to do that. So this is a really crucial part of any plan, and once you get that cash flow right, because if you're not contributing to in the cash flow side, then your plan's going to be harder to achieve. So that's your personal side. So you've got your strategy map, you've got your personal values, you've got personal financial advice, and then we'll move into your business goals and strategy map and implementation, where we do benchmarking. We'll do a strategy map for your business. So we'll take your personal one, and then we'll move it over to your business as well. And then we'll sit down with you to nut out what it is exactly that you want to achieve, like I have done with those people that have got a total of $1.5 billion worth of revenue that we are targeting in their strategy map and their goals. Okay, so those are the key things that I think that you need in terms of getting your business to where you want it to be, aligning your personal life with your business life, based on my personal experience on having sold a small business to a global company. Now, the big question is, okay, Jason, so how much? All right, so how much is this all going to cost? What's the investment for you guys? Well, the first thing is that My Life plan, people are paying us at the moment $6,600 for that. So that's $6,600 just to go through that initial program of personal values, understanding where they stand, and so that you can have a solid foundation to launch within your business and get congruency, so that when people think about your business, they think about you and their eyes light up. So that's the My Life plan. It's the valuation of that. The value of that is $6,600. People are paying us. As well as that, the comprehensive financial advice starts at $3,300. That includes us coming in and doing everything by speaking to your experts. Make sure you've got every cover of every area of your plan sorted, so you know exactly what you're doing, and you have those two aligned. Then you're ready to launch into the business. Now, the business consulting for us starts, it's $12,000. It's only $1,000 a month, where we do the full financial business implementation strategy, getting a second opinion from accountants as well, and pulling that all together. And just a nice little that cash flow breakthrough that's chucked in there. It's only $97, right? So that total value is at $21,997. So now I know that many of you are looking at this and saying, that's awesome, Jason, but here's the thing, I don't want to pay $21,997. And I get it, because a lot of times I'm designing this so that people are business that are sort of needing that little extra leg up, needing that little help, need that little just that bit of tweaking, and somebody to come in to help boost their business up, boost their confidence, get them to where they want to be. That might just be a bit of a sting, even if you're going to pay that out over a couple of 12 months or so. It's just I want to kind of make it a bit easier for you to get involved. So what I've decided to do is to bring on board as many people as I can initially at much less. So I'm going to do the old dramatic swipe through. And so the price I've got of that is only at 30% of that cost. 30% of that investment, which is only $6,600, you can engage us and we will do all of this for you. All right. So that is just, I've had to work hard to try and get that price down to there and work out how we can actually make it profitable, because we have got, we've got 40 staff within the business that in the accounting side, we've got a financial planning arm, and that is the best that I can do it at, guys. That's the best that I can do it, where it's good value for you, but I can still make a little bit of money, but to help us help more people. So in doing this, you are being one of those people in the world that actually know that they're here to make a difference. They know that they're here for more than just getting on the treadmill. And I think that if I can do that, now there's a lot of different payment options. So you can pay that up front, or you can pay that over a couple of months, whatever it is. I recommend you commit. And if you're thinking about it, just commit. If you want to know more, have a conversation. Either way, the next step from here is to book a time. So really, and let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about where is it that you really, really want to go. Do you want to, as Alice said, do you want to just sort of meander along and sort of end up anywhere? Our clients that we're working with have so much fun. We have so much fun just getting out, and sometimes we get the tissues out. We have really deep conversations about where they want to go, the goals they want to hit, the difference they want to make on the planet is absolutely amazing. It blows me away. The revenue they want to generate to be rewarded for that difference they make, it's over $1.5 billion. If you said to me 5 years ago that I'm going to be speaking with people who want to make this kind of impact in the world, I'd say, can't really see that happening. But it's because I went through that process, sold that business, am here now today, sharing these things with you, that I'm dealing and I'm speaking with these kinds of people. And it's rewarding for me as much as it is rewarding for them. So the next step for you, and I'm really excited, is just book a time. Let's chat. There's no fancy kind of websites to go to click in the buttons and with, secret upgrades or anything. Let's just have a chat. You saw the cost on the investment for you on the previous slide. Book a time. Let's chat. There's a link above or below where it says book a chat. It's a shortened link. They'll take you to a site, an online site, where you can just book in 15 minutes online. Let's have a one-on-one and just flesh it out. If there's parts of the program that you want to talk through, if there's things that you want to think about in there, the key thing for you is to start taking action. You've come this far. Let's do it. Let's just do. Would love for you to have the life where you are one of these other clients where the next presentation, it's not 1.5 billion that I'm presenting, it's 2 billion, because you've been so inspired. You've come out with these massive goals that you can achieve. So guys, that's it from me today. It's been fantastic. It's been an honor to serve you and give you all this information the last couple of days. We've invested quite a bit into it just so that we can just share with you. If you don't do anything in terms of booking a time, do something in terms of implementing, because the fact that you're watching this, even here right now, still shows that you're an action taker. Okay, so love to hear from you. Book a time up there or below, wherever you're watching this from. And wherever you are watching this from in the world, I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, evening, night, and, all the best to you. And thank you for joining me. Cheers.